the NFL schedules were released, and it's a big moment because the NFL schedules sort of give a map of how the season could ultimately end up. Not because, of course, the schedule and who they're going to play, but the strength of schedule matters. And who you play, when you play them, where you play them, that matters. Which is why teams in the NFL in general make it a big spectacle that they release the schedule. I mean, shouts out to, the Titans. They had a really clever way of releasing schedule. Shouts out to the Jaguars. They had a really clever way. Shouts out to the Chargers. They had an anime way. It's a big moment for this. It's pretty much hey, we're back. And I'm going to talk about 3 winners, and of course, we're just dissecting the schedule. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them, but we're dissecting 3 winners of the schedule and 3 losers. And when I say losers, the schedule was brutal for these teams. Let's talk about the winners. Let's first talk about, of course, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers find themselves in a position that they haven't been in a while, and that is a position of unknown. You have a new quarterback in Jordan Love. You don't know what you have. Yes, you still have a good team, but the league is a quarterback driven league, and it doesn't matter how good you are if you don't have the quarterback. There's a cap, i.e. the San Francisco 49ers. And when you're a team that has a lot of question marks at the quarterback position, going into the season, you want as many layups as possible. You want as many, I'm not going to say sure wins, but as many teams where you could win. You want them as much as possible. And one of the biggest reasons why I think the Green Bay Packers was a winner is because when you look, their first game is against a bad Chicago team. And not just bad Chicago team, but a bad defense. You do not want Jordan Love's first few games to be world beaters on the defense. We'll talk about some teams in a second, but you do not want your new franchise quarterback or possibly your franchise quarterback. You do not want him to go against a death row of defenses. And you don't. I mean, Chicago had one of the worst defenses last year. You play them week 1. Week 2, Atlanta. We know their defense is terrible. It gets a little more difficult, but you're playing them at home. You're playing the Saints at home. Now, yes, they have a good defense, but you're playing them at home in the climate and the weather. The Detroit, their defense is still a little suspect. The Raiders, their defense is terrible. The Broncos in week 7, their defense is good, but again, we don't know. The Vikings, the Rams. You're playing the first time you're playing against a real elite defense is probably week 3, but you're playing them at home and week 7. So that really helps for a young quarterback that's getting the first year with the team is pretty much his. That spells definite win for the Green Bay Packers. Another one is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens had a very loud offseason, of course, with the whole Lamar Jackson deal and everything, but they were able to get it done. So what you want some easy layups. You want some easy layups to start off because you want to get the mojo, you want to get the morale, you want to get the city back to liking the team. Because, of course, with this Lamar Jackson thing, you saw a divide between the team and Lamar Jackson as well as the fans. Well, you get a Houston Texans team, which that should be an easy win. Of course, you have the Bengals, and it's at the Bengals, but that's in a divisional game. We always know how those go. The Colts should be a win. The Browns should be a win. We do want to see what Deshaun Watson looks like with, is he ever going to get back to his prime years? But that should be a win because they've had some flux on the defense side of the ball. Of course, Pittsburgh's always a tough tough match, but you're playing against Kenny Pickett, and of course the Tennessee Titans. Like they have, yeah. From week 6, Tennessee Titans should be easy. Detroit, we're think a lot of people are thinking they're going to be really good, which I think they will be, but you still have the best quarterback. The Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. So I just think that this shapes up to be a really good season for the Ravens. And I think that when you start off with a cupcake and then you start off with a division rival, which is tough, don't get me wrong, but then you follow it up with the Colts, I think that is a favorable start outside of the Cincinnati Bengals. And then you get Cleveland, but it is at Cleveland, so, you know. And a last win, I would say the Lions. Now, yes, it's tough that you have to start the season with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's tough. At Kansas City on was it Thursday Night Football. Ugh, that's tough. Season opener. But out after that, you have the Seahawks, and a lot of people are saying the Seahawks are going to be good. I think they're going to be good, but is the Geno Smith that we saw last year, is that just like an outlier, or is that the new Geno Smith? And the defense, which they did address a lot of the defense, is it going to be good? We don't know. You have Atlanta that should be a cupcake. Again, Green Bay. This is a new age for Green Bay. They have a good team, but the quarterback is still a question mark. The Carolina Panthers, you have a rookie quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're probably going to be awful this year. So I think that it's when we talk about favorable schedules, there's a bunch of teams that have favorable schedules. I think the Dolphins is a team that had a very favorable schedule. Again, Detroit, Green Bay, the Ravens. I think you can say those are winners as far as the schedule goes for this year. On top of some winners, there are definitely some losers. And let me tell you something. One of the biggest losers of this schedule release was the Giants. Let me tell you their first few games. Dallas, on the road at Carolina, on the road at San Francisco, or not Carolina, Arizona, on the road at San Francisco. You play the Seahawks. Then you're on the road at the Dolphins, on the road at the Bills. Then you got Washington. Then you got the Jets. Like weeks out, the only cupcake, I guess you can say, are the Arizona Cardinals. But even that's on the road. So on the road, and then you have a short schedule or a short week because you play that Sunday, then you play Thursday against the San Francisco 49ers. They did the Giants absolutely no breaks. You have Dallas, then again, your hardest games, your toughest games of the season are pretty much on the road. Of course, you have it on the road with Philly. You have on the road with the Saints. You have on the road on the road with the Bills, on the road with the Dolphins, and of course you have the Jets at home with Aaron Rodgers. So, on the road with 49ers. Yeah, no. They did them absolutely no favors. None. Another team they did not do any favors for is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, yes, I can attest, and I do believe that the Philadelphia Eagles won the draft. I think that, getting Jalen Carter, getting Nolan Smith, they did a really good job in the draft, and I think that they were one of the winners of the draft. However, this schedule, man, think about this. From week 6, no, actually, let's go a little further. From week 11, you're at Kansas City. Then you're at Kansas City, short week because you play on that Monday, then you play Sunday. You're at the Bills. I'm sorry. At Kansas City, then you play the Bills, and you play the 49ers, and you play the Cowboys, and you play the Seahawks. That is a tough. From week 11 to week 15, that is tough. And even week 16, well, yes, I think they're definitively better than the Giants. it's still a divisional matchup. So that is a tough. On top of that, actually, you can even start with week 4. Week 4, you're at the Commanders divisional. Then you at the Rams. We don't really think much of them. Week 6, you have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and you have Tua and the Dolphins. You have Commanders again. You have Dallas. Then you have to bye, and then week 11, the Saints row. Like that is tough. It's going against the defending champs. Then the Bills. A lot of people have had them winning the Super Bowl last year. The 49ers, arguably the best defense in the league. Then the Cowboys, and you got the Cowboys late at Jerry World. It's going to be tough, bro. That is a tough slate of games for the Eagles. Now, I think the Eagles are going to be very good this year, don't get me wrong, but they didn't do them any favors. And lastly, I'm going to talk about is the Jets. The Jets, again, new team, or let me say, new quarterback, trying to get acclimated with the team. The first week, you play the Bills. Second week, you're at Jerry World. Fourth week, you're in Kansas City. You play Kansas City. Fifth week, you're in Denver. Then you play the Eagles. Week down, you play the Chargers. Then week 11, you're at Bills, and then you follow that back up with a quick or a short week, and you play the Dolphins. Yeah, man. When you have a new quarterback, that's tough. That your first game at home is going to be the Bills, and then at Jerry World, and then just 2 weeks later, you're playing Kansas City at Denver in the high altitude. That's going to be tough. You're really going to see what the Jets are made of very early. Again, man, the schedule release is really fun and really good for a lot of for all the teams, and they make a really big spectacle of it, which is really good. But some people have favorable schedules and some people do not. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.